Hello there everybody, I got a special video coming out for you today. A video has been a few weeks in the making, actually a little over a month in the making here, about a brand new product that just came to market recently from a particular firearms seller that piqued my interest. It definitely piqued my interest, and I decided to go ahead and give it a shot. It was definitely more of an impulse buy, a impulse decision, whatever you want to call it, but I'm here today to talk to you about the Panzer M4 shotgun. Now, allegedly, this shotgun here is supposed to be a one-to-one clone of the Benelli M4. Now, on the Dirty Couch today, I know we've got some wonderful pieces just chilling in the room with me right here, but I'm showing you this just to show you that this particular video that I'm making here is more or less just intended to be like an unboxing, an impressions, first thoughts, whatever you want to call it type of video. I wouldn't consider this as a review. Don't think of it as one, because that ain't really the intent here. And I'm going to give you guys some real, raw, unbiased thoughts about this particular thing in this box right here. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm going to give it to you straight. I just got this gun as of the time that I'm making this video, literally maybe about 5-6 hours ago. Just got it home from the FFL today. Haven't had a chance to shoot it, obviously, but we're going to get around to that. But before we do, we're going to unbox the video, take a look at the gun. I'm going to disassemble a little bit, and I'm going to hopefully answer some of the questions that some of you folks might have about this thing, particularly if you're in the market for it, or if you've been looking at it, you heard about it. We're going to go over a few things about it, because I know there's not really a lot of information out there on it, and I'm going to try to get some of that information out there. I'm just going to let you know I don't profess to be an expert on, Benelli M4s. I actually don't own one. I am familiar with some pretty decent shotguns. Got a nice little 870 tactical right there. Got a Vepr 12, one of the older models with fixed stocks. Those are my two favorite shotguns. But this thing was acquired primarily just to be, a toy, a range toy. I got it mainly out of intrigue, just because, Benelli M4s, the real deals, run $2,000 and up. Personally, I don't feel like spending $2,000 on a shotgun, but that's just me. And yeah, I know you motherfuckers out there, buy once, cry once, all you type of people. Tell you what, stick a lollipop in your mouth, go sit in the corner, because I really don't give a shit. That ain't what this video is about, okay? Anyway, now that we have that out the way, let's talk about this shotgun a little bit. So, this is a Panzer Arms, made in Turkey, allegedly one-to-one Benelli M4 clone. This thing is not an inertia-driven shotgun. It does have the Argo gas system, just like the real deal Benelli, and I'm going to take it apart and show it to you a little bit so you can see what it looks like on the inside. I'm going to fumble with it a little bit because, again, I've only had it for a few hours. So if you see me having fumbleitis with the hands with this thing, hey, you know what? You can hee-hee-ha-ha all you want, but I'm just keeping it real with you. I'm not terribly familiar with these things, but I am informed enough to be dangerous. So anyway, when you open the box here, this is pretty much what you get. A slightly impressive package right out the box. The one thing that I do appreciate about this gun that kind of drove me to it, when I heard that it came with it, it does come with this nice little kit that has 3 factory chokes. It has a choke wrench, little removal wrench right here. And it actually, the people at Panzer Arms were so gracious and so kind enough to include these nice little, foam hearing protectors, whatever. Anyway, so 3 chokes from the factory. I know there's only 2 in the box. One is actually already pre-installed in the shotgun when you receive it. It is there. It did come with this little rubber piece that slipped over the charging handle. But anyway, there you go. That comes in there. It also comes with this nice little goggles, eye protection, whatever. It's cheap. It's cool, whatever. Comes with this nice owner's manual, but, I mean, who reads these? Who gives a shit? As far as the shotgun itself, comes in this nice plastic packaging. Let me take it out, and bam, here we go. out of the plastic. So let me switch to my wide angle. There we go. You can see a little bit more of this thing. So yeah, supposed to be allegedly 1-to-1 Benelli M4 clone. It does indeed have the Argo gas system, but initial impressions so far, this thing was oily as fuck right out the box. It does come with an aluminum receiver, steel barrel, of course. It does have this nice rubberized, overmolded grip, very similar to the Hogue grips. It's quite comfortable. I don't have any issues with it. It's got the finger grooves in there, but it's a nice meaty grip. You know, the angle ain't too bad. It's fine. I don't have any issues with it. Stock, you know, it's definitely an inexpensive shotgun stock. It's polymer. It's a little hollow. It feels pretty solid, though. It does come with this generous rubber butt pad. This is pretty soft. It's a nice material. Not bad. Sling swivel on the bottom. And, yeah, you got your top rail up here. Your ghost ring sights. Your hand guard, your sling mount, and your front sights. So this thing does come with the mag limiter installed. It does only have a 5-round capacity from the factory. But from pretty much everything I gather and what I've read online, these things do take the factory Benelli mag tubes and the extensions without issue. So, with that said, this thing does actually have a chrome lined barrel. Let me go ahead and take this thing apart and show you what it looks like. Actually, before we do that, we'll just flip it over on the other side here so we can see the other side of the receiver. It has the PW Arms, Redmond, Washington. That's the importer, I would assume. 12 gauge. It has a 3-inch chamber, so it can shoot 3-inch shells. Made in Turkey, Panzer Arms. This little handguard right here, it is cheap, to say the least. But it is completely functional, perfectly fine. Does what it needs to do. And, yeah. Not a bad shotgun. I mean, fit and finish is okay, but I do have one glaring gripe that I will be speaking of in just a moment, and we will get to that shortly, but for now, we're just going to take a look at this thing. There's your lifter. I mean, it looks okay. This thing is greasy as hell right now, so there's a lot of fingerprints, a lot of oil smudges and stuff on it, but overall, the fit and finish is okay. Keep in mind, this is a $550 shotgun. So, yeah, on many levels, you get what you pay for. That's pretty much unexpected. No shit, Sherlock. But for the money, it seems okay. It seems okay. Everything, you know, feels solid right out the box. But again, one major gripe, which I know this because I had to inspect this thing at my FFL before I completed my transfer. Anyway, this is an example of one, okay? So I don't expect this to be representative of all of these particular things, but my rear sight and my scope rail here are canted as fuck. I really don't know if this is going to come across on camera very well, but okay, it probably won't. So I'll just try to demonstrate here. The rear sight and the rail in front of it are canted like crazy to the right. It annoys the fuck out of me that it was canted so badly. Because I don't know if I'm going to be able to zero this thing like with a red dot. I'm going to try. I don't even know if the sights will zero, but you know, it's a fucking shotgun, so hopefully that won't be an issue. Nonetheless, it is a gripe with mine. Pretty much the only gripe so far. You got your 3 dots in the rear and your front sight posts. Ghost ring, you know, whatever. They're cool, but I just can't get it to come up on camera. I'm holding my fucking camera here, and I'm not about to get all fancy with this shit, but it is severely canted to the right. We will see if it zeros. Hopefully fucking so. I would be extremely disappointed if it doesn't. but hopefully that won't be a problem. Anyway, bolts actuate smoothly. No real issues there. I mean, it's a brand new gun. But other than the fucked up sight rail and the rear sight, it feels pretty solidly built. I know the Turkish have been known to make some pretty decent shotguns. I'm not personally a fan of all these bullpup and AR style shotguns that they pump out of Turkey left and right that everybody seems to love. But this thing right here, I just had to get it. And that's the only reason I got it. I don't really intend for it to be anything other than a toy. But still, I wanted to give it a shot and just see. You know, if I can get even 80%, 90% of a real M4 out of this thing, that's pretty much my litmus test for being happy right there. I'm good. So let me take this thing apart and show you what it looks like. So, of course, with Benelli's, you have to unscrew your end cap right here. You unscrew this bad boy, and the entire shotgun pretty much just pulls apart. And I know I'm not capturing this on camera, and I apologize, but hey, I'm working with what I got. So your handguards actually just peel off. It is a two-piece handguard. And if we throw this box out of the way, let me show you what I'm working with here. So you take your end cap off, and then the whole thing just breaks down. You can pull your barrel out, and that's pretty much field stripping for you. So here's your barrel, front sight. You got your singled out up front. It is, protected with these hoods right here. They do appear to be steel. As you can see, pretty thick. Doesn't look too particularly cheap. Your barrel, as you can see, is threaded on the inside to accept a variety of Benelli style chokes. It did come with this choke pre-installed. You have your slots, which is what you put your little choke wrench in there, and you can, remove and install it just by screwing it out and in. Now here's the Argo gas system. As you can see, anybody who might be familiar with the real deal M4s, this probably looks pretty similar. We're pretty familiar to what you're used to seeing. These are the pistons for the gas system. They are chrome lined. The barrel itself is also chrome lined. And the chamber is chrome lined as well. I know it's probably not focusing down the bore, but these chamber components and the gas system, as you can see, are chrome lined, which is very nice to know. So yeah, that is a good thing. Here's just a close-up of the gas system and what it looks like. What you're seeing mostly is just oil and packing grease. That's not rust. That's just the oil and the grease. This is a new gun. It is unfired. It's pretty much supposed to look like this. But yeah, here's your gas system. It's a short stroke tappet. Yeah, just the machining on here. I wouldn't say it's rough, but it's pretty smooth. It's just the finish on it isn't really that great, but I mean, these are components you're never really going to be seeing anyway, so who gives a shit, right? But the barrel itself and the gas system looks pretty legit. I would assume to anybody with an M4 that probably looks pretty much like what you got. We'll see how it holds up in the real world after it's got some buckshots run through it, right? Of course, your handguard peels off. You got your left and right side. I will probably be replacing these because they're really cheap. They're really smooth. I mean, I'll probably upgrade that to something else. So, yeah, your magazine tube does have the 5-round limiter on there. And yes, I can say that without a doubt, this thing is Loctited on like a motherfucker. I cannot remove it by hand. So, just a word to the wise here. If you get one of these things and you want to put a Benelli mag tube or, the +2 extensions, you're probably going to have to use some heat on here. Melt that Loctite down so you can take this off. Not a problem if you know what you're doing and you're not an absolute fucking retard, but I mean, it's just something to be aware of. The bolt, as you can see, is chrome lined as well. That is nice. I'm not going to disassemble the trigger components and trigger assembly, but I'm just going to give you guys a look. The safety, by the way, it's really fucking stiff. It requires a fair bit of effort to actually move. The button on the right side, of course, is a little bigger. It's triangular than the button on the left, but it's very stiff. It's a little gritty. Maybe it'll wear in with use, but it requires a fair bit of effort to move. It is, it's pretty heavy. So, yeah, there's that. The trigger itself is not bad. It's a shotgun trigger. Yeah, I mean, no issues with it. You have your mag release or your bolt release button right here. It is textured quite well. It's a small button, but there are aftermarket replacements for that, which I will probably look into as well. The charging handle, there you go. Another candidate for aftermarket replacement, of course. Your scope reel has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws, flathead screws holding it into place. I will probably try removing that to see if I can center that rail a little better, but I'm not going to get my hopes up. The rail, both the rail and the sight were candid as fuck on this particular model. Again, this is, example 1 of 1. I'm not saying this is something to expect on your particular Panzer M4 should you happen to buy one of these, but mine didn't win the QC lottery, unfortunately, so you get what you pay for, right? Anyway, the rear sights are adjustable. You can adjust windage and elevation. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to mention about this thing at this point, other than the fact that it seems okay. Some minor, maybe some moderate QC gripes aside, it does seem like a fairly faithful one-to-one clone of the real deal Benelli M4. Probably replace that with something a little better too. But yeah, this thing does seem like a nice candidate for some tweaks, maybe some parts improvement or parts swaps. Replace some of this stuff with the real deal Benelli stuff, and probably have you a pretty kick-ass shotgun for not a lot of money, which is kind of the intention here. This stock is also a good candidate for replacement. Now, speaking of the stock, I know some of y'all are probably gonna wonder whether or not the collapsible M4 stocks will fit this. I have no idea. I don't have one. They're damn near unobtainium right now anyway, so I can't just tell you that based on a few things that I've heard and seen online. You might have to modify the Benelli adjustable stock to fit this thing. From what I hear, something back here isn't notched properly or some shit. I'm just going based off of what I remember right now. I don't have that information in front of me, but from what I've heard, you might have to modify this thing a little bit if you want to get the adjustable or the Benelli adjustable stock to fit. That's all I know for now about that. But again, for about $550, which is what this thing costs, not really too many complaints. Again, with mine, I got the cant issue up here, but boo fucking who, right? Maybe you guys will have better luck if you end up buying one of these things. All right, and just like that, we have our shotgun reassembled. So I'm just gonna switch back to wide real quick and just give this thing a nice little rack. It is clear. I mean, I have no reason to load this thing on camera, but anyway, run the bolt, pull the trigger. There you go. And of course, when you're dry on these things, it does have a bolt hold open feature. You can press your bolt release to load it. There's some cool little loading tricks you can do with this thing, but yeah, ain't nobody got time for that right now. We just want to talk about the gun. Anyway, so what do I think about it after spending my own hard-earned money on this thing? I mean, it's not like anybody sent this thing for me to review. Yeah, I actually spent my own money on this. I knew full well what I was buying when I got this thing. And, you know, other than the minor to moderate QC gripes aside, it does seem like a fairly decently built shotgun. I am slightly excited to know that it does take aftermarket and, you know, Benelli parts. So, you know, at least knowing that, which I don't want to jinx myself, but knowing if anything goes wrong with this thing or knowing if there's any improvements that I want to make to any particular pieces on it, you know, I got a good chance that factory Benelli stuff will fit and function fine. That is reassuring to know. With that said, the shotgun itself is fairly light. It is, you know, it seems like a nice gun. You know, I've got cheap guns, or actually, I take that back. I don't have fucking cheap guns. What am I saying? You know, I've clearly got some fairly expensive guns. And, you know, I'm definitely the type that believes in quality over quantity and all that shit. But, you know, this thing was just intriguing enough that I wanted to give it a shot and see what it was about. Really just see if I could turn it into, you know, a respectable piece, a respectable clone, I guess. But eventually I will shoot this thing. Ammo is still expensive as fuck. This is, you know, early mid-February 2021 when I'm recording this. So, you know, ammo is no bueno right now. No fucking bueno, to say the least. But as of right now, I mean, I'm somewhat content with this purchase. I'll probably be happier with it once I put some shells through it and once I start making some tweaks to it. Other than this bullshit up here, you know, like I said, it seems like a quality piece. Speaking of that, I do want to speak to my experience about Classic Firearms, which is the dealer that I purchased this thing from. Now, to my knowledge, as of right now, I believe they are the only ones that actually sell this particular thing. I don't believe you can buy the, specifically the Panzer M4 anywhere else. However, I have found out that there are several other very similar clones to this gun on the market. I don't know if they're one-to-one or the exact same as this one, but there are a few of them out there. I believe the only one that really comes to mind right now that's actually sold in the U.S. is something made by Charles Daly. I think it's like the 601 or some shit like that. Again, I don't know it off the top of my head. I'm just going based off the best I can remember right now. But I don't know, again, if it's a one-to-one. I don't know if it has the Argo gas system or if it's inertia-driven or what. But this thing right here, clearly, as I demonstrated to you, it does have the Argo gas system. It is, you know, fairly faithfully a one-to-one Benelli clone. So, again, that's the only reason I got this thing, because at least I knew it was. But if the other ones are, that's pretty cool to know. Maybe I'll look into those one day myself. But other than that, this is what we got for now. And I will probably make some follow-up videos on it in the coming weeks, months, after I've tweaked it a bit, done some shit to it, and run some slugs and some buck through it, and just see how it performs. But as of right now, I'm fairly happy with it. So we'll see if that continues. But I'm going to go ahead and end the video now. Probably ramble for too damn long anyway, but if you guys got any questions, just drop them in the comments. And hey, have a great rest of your day.